Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a little July TBR. I know July's already started, but I'm really excited for this video. I've never done anything like this before on my channel, and I think it'll be fun. So hang in and let's get started. Technically, I've already finished 2 books, but by finish, I mean like finishing like a matter of like a couple of chapters. I finished Restore Me by Tereya Mafi. This is part of the Shatter Me series. This is the 4th book in the series. Honestly, it was okay. I'll be doing more on this in my July wrap-up video, but definitely pretty engaging at the end of the book. But yeah, so this is the first book that I finished this month. The next book that I finished was actually an audiobook, and I started reading this before bed, but I just couldn't get into it, so I decided to listen to the audiobook of it, and I actually ended up really enjoying it when I listened to it. So the audiobook was called West with Giraffes by Linda Rutledge. I've never read any of her books before. I thought it was pretty good. I'd recommend it. Without further ado, let's get on to the books that I actually have for my TBR for this month. So the first book that I have on my TBR, which isn't like a super summary book, but it's the second book of the Scythe series, Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. But I just got into it, so I thought I would continue reading the series. I haven't really figured out too much what this is gonna be about, but so far, I already recommend reading Scythe. So I'm really excited to read this book because I loved Scythe so much, and I've heard really good things about it from a couple of people and my mom too. If you haven't read the Scythe series or the first book, I don't want to spoil anything for you. What I am going to say though is that Scythe is about these 2 teens, and they get selected by a scythe. And basically scythes are designated people who get chosen by prior scythes, whose main job is to glean, or I guess like people in the world, because they need to keep the population number at like a reasonable amount so it doesn't increase too much. So that's basically what their job is as a scythe. And these 2 teens, Rowan and Citra, are selected to become scythe apprentices so that they can potentially become future scythes. You follow them as they go through their journey of being apprentices of Scythe Faraday, who is already a designated scythe. It's kind of dark a little bit, but it is YA, so it's not like horribly dark. It's very manageable in my opinion. Take that with caution, but I highly recommend it for a really fun time with a great story. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm very excited. Anyway, the next book that I have on my TBR, which I wanted to read last summer because my friend actually gave me this book, is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. And I've heard really good things about this book, and the texture of this book, it's like that like velvety almost feeling, but it's like matte. I don't know, it's weird, but I love the texture of this book. And I read one of K.L. Walther's other books, What Happens After Midnight, I think it was called. And that was a YA. I'm assuming this is also a YA book. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that this is a YA book as well. And I love YAs. I just think they're so fun. The characters are fun. I'm 20, so it's pretty easy for me to relate to characters in a YA book when they're written reasonably, okay? Anyway, but yeah, so I'm really excited about The Summer of Broken Rules. I don't know too much about this, but it looks like the back of the book says it's all fun and games until someone loses their heart. High hopes for this book. I'm really excited to read a summer book and kind of get into that because I feel like none of the books that I've read so far have been summery, and it's July. So it's like really summer, setting the summer vibes. Shout out to my friend who gave me this book. You know who you are, so thank you again. I went to the library the other day and I picked up Thunderhead, but the other book that I ended up picking up is a Catherine Center book called Hello Stranger, and I'm pretty sure this has been out for maybe a year or 2 at this point. I've heard really good things about this book as well. I've only read one other Catherine Center book. It was The Bodyguard, and I loved that book so much. It was the first book that I read this year. I gave it 5 stars, and I flew through it in like 2 days. I was laughing like the whole time. It was just so silly, and I loved the characters and the way that she wrote them and like the interactions that they had. And me still kind of being new-ish to reading-ish. Her name is really big on the title of like the book, on like the cover. So I think it's probably gonna be pretty good. My library has a bunch of other Catherine Center books, so those are not on my July TBR, but I would like to read them in the future. If it happens to me in July, I'll read them in July. If not, I would like to get to them at some other time. The last book that's on my TBR, I only have 4 this month just because I'm kind of a slow reader and I'm still kind of more getting into recreational reading. It's really hard for me to do a lot of reading during school, so I try to pack it in the best way that I can during the summertime. And I know I'm a bit late to the party on this one, but yeah, it's Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've heard such good things about this book, but I didn't get it last year, and this year I finally discovered the library again, and I got a new library card, so we'll see if what people said about it is true, and if it's actually good. But I have high hopes for Happy Place, and eventually I'll read Funny Story, but I don't want to get too ambitious, so I only have 4 books on my TBR for this month. And honestly, I feel like that's a good amount of pages. Like, this is a pretty decently thick stack. Yes, it's hardcovers, but I feel like for an amateur reader, I feel like this is a decent bunch. Oh, don't forget about Happy Place. Yeah, Happy Place too. I'm really excited for this month of reading. I can't wait to get started. Thank you guys again for watching this video, for tuning into my channel. I know I haven't posted in a super long time. I've been busy with school and just getting caught up in being a 20-year-old and having a busy life. Hopefully I'll be posting again soon, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.